You need to get some rich friends. I say this as I'm sitting in my Honda Civic, but you guys know that story. I'm purposely holding off on car shopping, but when I do, I'll make a video on it. But you need you some rich friends for multiple reasons, and this isn't the pretentious video that one might expect when they see this title. No, this is the real deal. We're talking about things that will actually change your life, right? For many, many reasons. First things first, especially for the aspiring entrepreneurs. A lot of you, and I work with you, a lot of you have a lot of issues asking for money. A lot of you have issues charging money. A lot of you have a big fear around money, right? And you feel like $1,000 is too much to charge or to pay to invest in yourself. And what happens is when you go around people who are making a lot more money than you, you realize that they have no problem charging $10,000 for their time or $5,000 for an offering, whatever it is. You need to be around people who aren't so attached to money. Money is a tool, and we treat it as such, nothing more than nothing less. It's like a toy and a tool, one and the same, right? I don't think about money in the same way I used to when I didn't have it. When I didn't have it, I was obsessed over it. It's probably why I never had it. When I started treating it almost like in a fun way, oh yeah, I'm going to charge you $5,000 for this, blah, blah. Of course, I'm actually going to deliver you $5,000 worth of value because it's my reputation at stake, but it's the confidence to be able to say you're asking for a certain amount of money without stuttering. That's what I'm getting at. And you need to be around people who make you feel like what you're making is nothing. I didn't start making, when I first hit $10,000 a month, I thought that was a lot of money. And then I got around people who were making $20,000 a month, and I felt like I was making nothing. So I started making $20,000 a month. Then I got around people making $30,000 a month. And what happened? I started making $30,000 a month. So on and so forth. That's what a great circle of friends does for you. And not necessarily friends, but counterparts, peers, associates, competition, right? Friendly competition. You need that. But most people surround themselves with losers. And then they wonder why their life sucks. Look at everybody around you and ask yourself, okay, are these folks on the trajectory that I want to be on truly? Right? It's one thing if they're not making money, but they're focused and they're trying things and they're on their way and they're actually putting plans into action. It's another thing if they're just not doing anything at all and they're just daydreaming. Get away from that. You need rich friends so that you can completely break down any beliefs, any limiting beliefs you have around money and wealth. And we talk about wealth a lot and money a lot on this channel because it matters. It's important. And I would like to see you guys successful, right? I have this goal of mine of making 1 million millionaires, and this is part of it. This is part of that work. And I told you guys on my Instagram story, I promise you that if you were to listen to my YouTube content consistently, your life will look completely different in a year from now, this time next year. And it's true, because everything I'm talking about changed my life, right? So number two, so the first thing is it's going to completely change your concept of money, your limiting beliefs around money when you start hanging around with people who make a lot more money than you. That's number one. Number two, to get rich, to start making a lot of money, to be in the 1%, it takes a certain level of discipline, a certain way of looking at the world and looking at oneself. There are certain traits that you need to adopt and to bring out of yourself, to demand from yourself day in and day out. And so what happens is you are around people now, rich folks or people with more money than you. They have qualities that are going to make you better by being around them. And also because they're not going to tolerate laziness. They're not going to tolerate you BSing yourself, right? Because they know, I know how much I had to go through to get to where I am right now. And I'm barely there. I'm on my way, but I'm barely there. I know people with way more money than me, and they definitely would not tolerate laziness, excuses, BS, drugs, all these bad habits that keep you broke. And you know what they are. Wasting time, tardiness, procrastination. And so you need to be around people who demand excellence from everyone around them. Because right now, you are probably around people who, and they don't know it, they're not doing it on purpose, but they let you think it's okay to be mediocre. Don't blame them, blame you for picking them as your friends, right? One thing that changed my life very quickly was when I started surrounding myself around people who I knew I couldn't BS around, who I knew I couldn't make up excuses around. And so it's not just the fact that they're rich, but it's who they had to become to get rich. And it's who you will have to become to get rich. That matters. That's what matters. And that is who I'm trying to speak to right now. It's that part of you. Zoom in a bit. So let's talk about how to get these rich friends. How do we find these rich friends? Where do they hang at? How do you meet them in a genuine way? Let's talk about that. All right, so how do you find these rich friends, right? So I'll tell you something right now. You see how I just touched on the fact that, like, you know, they know how hard it was to get to where they are, excluding the people who have inherited it, of course. Well, they're not, you know, people with money just don't just let anybody around them. You have to come with a set of skill that provides them value, right? For example, if I am rich, I make great money. Why would I let any of you around me? I'm just being honest, right? I would let you around me if you had some sort of skill that I needed, right? And in turn, I would look at how I can compensate you for that as well. And so what that really means is you have to, unfortunately, you have to prove yourself, right? You have to get really, really good at something, or build a brand or a platform, right? People with money value other people that are putting in work, right? That's the admirable thing. And they will hear about you, right? Because what happens is, yeah, you can go to networking events and stuff like that, but when you're there, what do you say? You want to be able to say, listen, my name is Pablo and I do X, Y, Z. I have X amount of followers, or I did X amount of revenue this month or this year, whatever it is, right? You want to be able to be upfront about the value you can provide to people, right? And it can be small. It can be, you know, you do a little proposal and you present it to them, right? You start editing people's videos and send them the clips. Another example, I am in the market for appointment setters right now, right? And closers, right? If you can demonstrate that you've worked a sales job and you're willing to show your results and stuff like that, then I'd be willing to entertain a conversation, right? But you actually have to come with some sort of demonstratable value and be serious about providing value, right? Notice how when you see these YouTube vlogs of business people doing stuff together, it's always like, oh, you know, we should partner on XYZ. Partner, right? Meaning both parties are looking to provide value, because money is built on value. It's just a way to cement the value, to label the value that was produced for society, but that's all money is. Really, when we're having these conversations with each other, people who make money, it's like, you know, here's what I could do for you, here's what I can propose for you. It's all about making the other person's life better. And in exchange, as a byproduct, yes, you get compensated with money, but figure out right now what you're good at. If you know, I try and give like an actionable step in each video, and for this video, it would be figure out what you're good at, right? Or figure out what one of your competitive advantages are, right? Whatever it is, whether you're sports or you're really into, I don't know, YouTube or editing or video editing, stuff like that, whatever it is, social media, growing social media accounts, and do something so that you can build up like a portfolio or a resume on that, so that you can then shop this around to people through the DMs. It doesn't even have to be networking events anymore. Just through the DMs. I get tons of DMs every day from people trying to get my attention. And most of them are just very selfish. Most of them are like, here's what I want you to do for me. Here's what I want you to do for me. Instead of like, oh, Pablo, here's what I can do for you. And not just that, demonstrated proof, right? Because I get people in my DM saying, oh, I'd love to help. I'd love to be a marketer for you. I grew so's account to 50,000 followers, but they have no proof. What's the point, right? I'm not an idiot. I've grown accounts myself, right? And so you don't want to take shortcuts in that. Figure out what you're good at. Literally write it down. Write a list of options down. And then you need to build your own resume. Stop relying. It's 2024. You can no longer rely on your corporate resume, especially with the way the job market's going. You got to build your own resume. Who you really are, not your title, your corporate title, who you really are, right? My Pablo resume looks a lot different than my resume from when I was applying to jobs for Apple and when I was working as a financial analyst. You know, it's a lot different, right? And you know, another benefit to having rich friends is that they will help you shortcut life, right? You get access, right? You get access to, because of these relationships, you get access to a ton of different opportunities that you didn't even know existed, right? And if you treat one relationship well, it compounds into another, and then another, and then another. But they also help you just, because remember, it's not just the fact that they have money, it's the fact that they went through all the life lessons to get that money, right? There's a really great quote, Alex Hormozy shared it, where it's like something to the effect of, you will stay poor until you learn all of the lessons that poverty has to teach you. And it's so true, so true. And I was saying, one of the benefits to being around people with a lot of money is they can help you avoid making certain mistakes, right? That's one of the biggest benefits, is they can help you avoid making certain mistakes. Because sometimes we can't see what's around the corner. Our brain is only built to work in the present moment, but that present moment, it's everlasting and fluid, right? It evolves, right? Anyway, I say all that to say, upgrading my circle has been one of the best things I ever did for myself, and it will be one of the best things you ever do for you. But you don't have to have money to go make rich friends. Don't buy into that limiting belief. All you have to do is be willing to provide value. Be relentless about figuring out ways to provide value to other people, and then approach them. Nowadays, that happens through DM, but you are who you hang out with, right? And you got to stop entertaining certain people and start being aggressive about improving your company, right? Because you will be the average of the 5 people that you exchange energy with the most. Anyway, thoughts, questions in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. That's all I ask of you. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.